What's up, y'all? And I'm back with part two, and I'm talking quiet because I just put my daughter to sleep in the living room, and then I was gonna film in my room, but her dad's sleep is in my room, so I'm in my bathroom to get me a little peace and quiet. And y'all, I'm so excited about starting this series. Just the first disclaimer, and it might be a disclaimer in the beginning, but if you guys didn't have a chance to read the disclaimer in the beginning, this is not to bash anybody. This is not to hurt anyone's feelings. I am simply sorry, y'all, and I'm gonna tell you guys during this series, I'm not gonna always be made up. I'm just tell you that right now, right here, right now. I'm never always gonna be made up, and sometimes I might be made up, and sometimes I might not. I'm just take these off. My daughter broke my glasses, so it's kind of weird seeing out those. So this is going to be the first story time of the series, and this story time is going to really shine light of when I first had to actually deal with some of the insecurities that formed into me as a child. I'm using my platform to heal. This is my docuseries. I'm going to be showing you guys, even though I'm telling you guys a story time, I'm going to be showing you guys in real time that I'm actually really healing from this. Because just like people talk to therapists and get their feelings out, I feel like me documenting my story and actually being heard is going to help me. And after I filmed my intro to this series, I actually start to feel better. So I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing to exit out all the toxic, negative, environmental beings, people, feelings, story, past stories. I'm trying to let the past go, basically. And this is the next best thing. Like, if you're dealing with these things, if you can relate, please comment below. First off, I want to say thank you for supporting me and my family during our family vlogs and everything that we do. But this is a whole nother entity. This is not going to involve my family. This series, you might see my husband, but my daughter will not be in the series at all. Maybe towards the end, but for the most part, I'm going to try to keep her out of this series. So let's get started. So the first story is going to be about the first person that really actually broke my heart. It's going to be about my biological father and his family and how I feel then versus how I feel now, and why did I make some of the decisions that I made with actually raising my daughter and involving them in her life, kind of, sort of. I don't know if I have any of my dad's family watching, but I mean, I do love them. I still have love for them. It's just, this is how I feel. This is how I was made to feel. This is where I really had to first deal with acceptance. So now, as an adult, I struggle with wanting to be accepted by others. Wanted to feel wanted by others. Wanted to feel around. I felt out of place. Even though this was my family, I felt like, I'm trying to find the right words. I felt like I didn't belong. So I was always longing for acceptance, always longing for wanted to feel a part of something. Like I said, I'm the only child, and my mom worked a lot as a child. Um, a lot of things in my, family on my mom's side, a lot of things did hurt me at times, with my mom having to work so many jobs and me always being with my grandmother or my relatives, may have you. But that's going to be a whole nother story time within itself. So I remember when I was about, I think I was like 1.5. And this is where I immediately felt the neglect and not feeling wanted. We went over my grandmother's house, which is his mom. Went over there because he was in town. My dad is from Ohio. Well, he's from here, but he resides in Ohio. So I've always known of him to be in Ohio when we were here. Him and my mom were married for 10 years. They divorced when she came back to Virginia, she was pregnant with me. And I know some of the story, but it's a whole lot of sides to different stories. So because I wasn't present and everything, I'm just going to say I really don't know the whole ramifications of their relationship. I know about different entities which my father will not admit to, but I wasn't there, so it's no point in me questioning him still about it. I always wanted to know what happened, why I did not have the family aspect, why I did not have my father in the home. And I always wondered about that. Why isn't he not calling? Why doesn't he want to be around? So finally, they divorced. I think I was 1 when they officially got divorced. They had all the proceedings for the divorce when we were living here. So I think I was like 1 or 2. So I had to be like 1 or 2 when this happened. He was asking my mom for me to see him. And he said he was coming in town. He was going to be at his mom's. And it's crazy how well a child can remember stuff. I still remember this to this day like it was yesterday. Okay? Trying not to get emotional. But I still remember this like it was yesterday. And I went to the door, rang the doorbell, and his mother came to the door. And we saw his car outside. And I was like, is my dad here? And the look on her face was just a look that I've never seen before, because I'm really close to my grandmother on my mother's side. And it's like, was looking at a stranger. Basically, long story short, the door got slammed in my face. And I was told to get off her front doorstep. And I had to see my mom cussing and fussing and crying, like, why would you do this to my daughter? And this, that, and third. And later on, we met up at a disclosed location to spend time with my father. And we got a hotel room, and we slept. I don't know if it was that night or a whole different night, but we slept there. And that's the last time I remember seeing my dad when I was younger. And when we started, when I could really talk and everything, we started to talk on the phone and everything. I was about 7 years old. And at this point in time, my mother is in a whole new relationship. That's a whole nother story time. But my mom's in a whole nother relationship. He's stepping up to the plate. He's helping raise me, basically. But I still longed for my father. And so it's crazy. Like, it's really crazy. Like, looking back on everything. So this is when I feel like my father's family wanted to get involved in my life. But when I was around them, I always felt like an outcast. Like I always felt like I did not belong there. And I always had to pick between Thanksgiving and Christmas. When do I go over there? Talking to them, it would be short-lived. It would be, we'll talk for a little bit, and then, oh, they gotta go. I didn't really spend as much time with them as I felt like I should have. Because like I said, it's just the vibe. I guess because I just never forgave, or I was wondering, why now do you guys want to be apart? I had one aunt that accepted me from the beginning. But sadly, she unexpectedly passed away. I believe in 2000 or 2001. She unexpectedly passed away. And then her daughter, or maybe she was 2005, I think she passed away. Because her daughter passed away in 2015 at 38 years old, and we were saying how it's crazy how they passed away like 10 years apart from each other. So those were like the main two most important people in my life on my father's side of the family, and they passed away. So it was kind of heartbreaking. One of my aunts, she is trying to be close to me, but I feel like I'm just so closed out now that, you know, the issues that me and my father had is like, I feel like sometimes my father's sisters let that play a part. So moving on to, I was 7, and he will be with his multiple, women who didn't really want him to have a relationship with me. It was more so of their life, what they had going on, and that really hurt, because I was like, wow, he's putting a female in front of his child. And my father has 4 kids. I was the baby until I was 14, which I'm getting to that point. But at this time, I was his last child. I was the baby. So I'm like, you don't talk to your other 2 kids, and I'm the only one who's really trying to reach out to you, and this is how you do me. Heart is broken. And I remember crying to my mommy, why doesn't my father love me? Why doesn't he want to be a part of my life? Then I have to go through him not sending child support, me not being able to get the stuff that I wanted or needed. I only remember my father doing maybe one thing for me for Christmas. I don't even remember him sending anything. Not really. I don't know if it was because of the things that my mother and him had going on. I don't know. But as a child, you're like, Mom, this and the third. And so that went on until I was like fed up. Like I was like 12 or 13, and I remember talking to him, and at this time he's with his last child's mother, my little sister's. He was with my little sister's mother then. But before then, when I was about 7 or 8, I remember calling, and one of his girlfriends, I'm gonna call her, I'm not gonna use her real name, but I'm gonna use the first letter of her real name and call her a whole different name. So I'm gonna just say her name was Rebecca. So Rebecca would get on the phone and say, your father's not here. But I clearly hear him in the background calling your name. I'll ask her again, can I speak to my father? Your father's not here, clicker. So when he calls, he doesn't know this stuff is going on. And I'm like, you know, I'm hurt because I haven't talked to you in a while. And I feel like your girlfriend Rebecca is doing this, and that, and third. And he's like, no, I don't think Rebecca's doing that. Okay, let it go. So him and Rebecca ends. And he stays single for a little while. And maybe I thought he was single, but you know, it is what it is. He grown. Our relationship started getting better. He started calling. You know, child support was coming through. Like, everything was good. We had a good relationship. You know, he was talking about planning the visits, and everything was good. So I'm about maybe between 10 and 12. I'm at that age. Everything falls off again. And he's with a new chick. At this point, it's my little sister's mother. And I'm going to call her, I'm not going to use her, I'm going to call her Chelsea. Okay? So Chelsea, she was the real B. Okay? She was so irritating that it's like I didn't want to have nothing to do with my father, period. And at this time, I'm still trying to deal with his family here, feeling like they don't even want to even talk to me. And here you are with a whole chick who is basically wanting to make it all about you. But child, he has kids. You got with a man who have children. You have to accept his children if you want to be with him. I don't know if he got that concept, but it took me to do some really disrespectful stuff towards my father for him to like understand, like, you cannot keep hurting me. You can't. So, when I was 13, we started to, you know, talk, have a little conversation. And I was like, I want to be the baby forever, this and the third. And she used to do the most irritating stuff. Like, she didn't bother me until my little sister came into the picture. Everything was good between me and him. But then my 13th birthday, I believe I had just turned 13. And he gets locked up on my birthday. I'm like, what? So the next day, I'm waiting for him to call, you know, or what? Maybe he had just gotten out of jail on my birthday. Because I remember him calling me on my birthday to say, hey, I was telling you happy birthday. And I was at little CC's with my two friends from school. We were at CC's, and then later on we went to the movies. And, you know, he had called, was telling me how he had gotten into it with his girlfriend, with Chelsea. And she locked him up, got him locked up by, you know how chicks do. You know, they say they're domestic, but then be right back with the person. I was like, okay, whatever. That's none of my business, but it is what it is. So that passed, and next thing you know, I was still 13. I was about to turn 14. And, you know, he was like, I'm not having no more kids. I'm not having no more kids. And I hadn't talked to him for months. My birthday was in June of the year before. So I hadn't talked to him in months. You know what I'm saying? And I get a call. I think my little sister's birthday is in April or May. April. I believe it's April. I get a call in April. I'm about to turn 14 that year. I get a call in April saying, no, it was after I turned 14, because I was already 14. Me and her are 14 years apart. So I was already 14. So basically fast forward, I'm 14 now. And I hadn't talked to him basically in some time length between my 13th birthday and me being 14. I hadn't talked to him for a long period of time. And he was like, well, when I would call, He's not here. The same thing at what Rebecca used to do, basically. Or she'll hit the phone to ignore or don't answer or whatever. Because at this point, my dad, was working, so he wouldn't know. So I'm like, all right, cool beans. It is what it is. So then it was the point of the matter of, he called me. Basically, I didn't know she was pregnant. He called me when my sister was born, and all he said was, you have a little sister now. And he was like, I'll talk to you later, blah, blah, blah. What? Like, dude, you let me be the baby for 14 years, and then you just call me to tell me that I have a sister and you don't take care of me, type of thing. And that hurt my feelings, because my little sister is daddy's little girl. Something that I always wanted. Like, I always wanted to feel accepted by my father. I always wanted to feel like I was his little girl, or whatever the case may be. I dreamed about my dad walking me down the aisle. I dreamed about us having a good relationship. I was like, why? What is wrong with me? And it got instilled in me as a young child to, what's wrong with you? Why these people don't like you? Like, what's wrong with me? So, and now I'm grown. I'm still asking myself, because I'm getting hurt, like, what's wrong with me? Like, okay. I had to sit there and I had to watch my dad take care of my sister. My dad is in the house with my sister. And him and Chelsea didn't work out. And that sucks, because now she's keeping my sister away from him. And she just hated the bond that I was creating with my sister. Even though I was feeling like trash, even though I felt like, dang, like I just got pushed to the side type thing. And I've been trying for 14 years to get your attention. Like, I felt like so bad, but I love my sister. I did not want to project that on her. I did not want to be jealous of her because she had the life that I didn't. But still, her life, ended up not being everything probably that she probably wanted to be, because they split up. My dad is now married to an amazing woman who accepts me. Me and him now have a better relationship, because she won't have that. Okay? My stepmama do not have that. She like, no, before we get married, you need to reconcile all of your differences with your children. And it's crazy because my brother didn't know nothing about us. My brother is 29. Either he's 29 or 30. He's around my husband's age, but he didn't know about us until 2 years ago when I was pregnant. We found him when I was in 2017. He got in contact with my father, and my father got in contact with me. He is like standoffish because he feels bad because he wasn't around us for growing up. But like I try to tell him, that's our parents' fault. Like, you cannot take on that type of responsibility. You can't take on that type of hurt. And my sister, she's 28, and she just found me. And it's a whole nother thing. Like, she said she's been looking for me for years. Bro, we live literally 10 minutes away from each other. I would call my dad's side of the family like, hey, have you guys got my sister's information? Nobody be like, no, I ain't got it. Especially my grandmother. She was just like, no. And then my sister told me, I would be asking for your information and I wouldn't be able to get it from our grandmother. But then finally my grandmother gave it to her, and I was just like, this is crazy. And no, I have not talked to my grandmother in a while. Do I feel bad? I do, in a way, but it's like, it take more than money on my birthday, money on Christmas, like, I was appreciative, but it's like, I didn't want no money. I wanted to actually feel like somebody cared, somebody loved me. I cried myself to sleep, honey, because I felt like I'm dealing with a family that really doesn't want me to be a part of their family. That's how I've always felt in my life. So when I got older, I just say I'm separating myself. I don't really care if I talk to them or not. But now I need to grow at peace. I need to be peaceful. I don't want to have the same anger in my heart dealing with this stuff. I've forgiven my father. I need to forgive them. And yeah, like when my dad disrespected me when he was with Chelsea, I cursed him out. He told his family that I cursed him out, and I got the backlash. I think I was about 13 at this time. I got the backlash because of your girl at the time was very disrespectful towards me, and I cursed you out because you was disrespectful. Like, you talked about my mother. You didn't tell the whole story. Like, you talked about my mother, how she raised me, how I needed to get whooped, all this stuff. Like, what? No, handle your girl, okay? And I felt some type of way because for the longest time, his sister, I'm not going to even say her name, but that one I really don't get along with. I really do not get along with her because she don't know what to say out her mouth. She just always judging. I just can't deal. And then when I was pregnant, she called me and was like, yeah, my mom told me to call you. Like, what? You don't call nobody like that. I hid my pregnancy from everybody on that side of the family except for my father because I felt like it really wasn't nobody's business. And plus, I dealt with miscarriages and stuff, so I wanted to be sure that I was healthy, my baby was healthy, and like, it was just too much. I felt like I call and I check. I've been doing that since I was a kid. When am I going to be able to relax and have, you know what I'm saying, somebody check on me? That's how I feel. Like, now, his other sister, I'm gonna call this Aunt Barbara. So my Aunt Barbara, she is there now. You know what I'm saying? Like, after she stopped really talking to me because I cussed him out or whatever, like maybe a year or two later, she took me out to eat, and we hashed out our old stuff, and now she calls in and checks in on us. And my dad's brother on his father's side checks on us a lot too. So we have a good relationship. This aunt, the aunt that I really don't care for, I'm gonna call her Aunt Veronica. Aunt Veronica, I don't really like talking to. I specifically told them, like, please do not give her my number because I do not want to be bothered. But like I said, she did call me when everybody found out I was pregnant, and she asked me why I don't contact her, or why didn't I ask for her number. I didn't want your number because it was the type of thing, like, she rode or died for her brother. Like, I can't do no wrong towards her brother because that's her brother. I'm disrespectful. I can't. No. You don't know the whole story. You don't know what me and my father went through. That has nothing to do with you. Be an aunt. Be an aunt. Stop butting your nose and stuff that ain't got nothing to do with you. When you ready to be an aunt and be open arms or whatever, then we could talk. Like, it was an issue at my cousin's funeral. She was about to get the litten up of her life. We're at the repast, and when she met my stepfather, and Lord Jesus, this is another story time within itself about my stepfather. But anyway, when she met my stepfather, I introduced him as my dad. She went off. And my dad, my biological father, he was there. You know what I'm saying? He was already there in the mix. So, that's not your dad. That's not your dad. My brother is your dad. Like, your brother ain't do nothing for me. And I said that in front of my daddy. Your brother did not do diddly squat for me. And, my dad was just like, Veronica, shut up. You don't know what to say out your mouth. It's the wrong place, wrong time. Yeah, because we was on church ground, baby. But you, Jesus gonna have to forgive me that day because you was about to get it. Okay? So there you have it, y'all. That was the first story time to when I really felt the first feeling of not being accepted, feeling shunned out, feeling like the black sheep. That was the first drawing. Like, that put the first stamp on my heart. And that drum broke. And I put this Band-Aid on it and everything. And it still kept getting broken after that. So y'all stay tuned. And this is basically like father figures in my life that has basically torn me to pieces. I wanted a father figure to show me what it was like. Show me how a woman was supposed to be loved. That way when I got into a relationship, I knew what to expect. I knew what not to accept. You know, that's why, that's why I'm trying to get my situation together and get me and my husband's life together so that we could be better examples for our daughter. Because I be doggone she go through the stuff that I went through, okay? But, y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed this first story time. I love you guys. Thank you guys for supporting me. And I hope you guys enjoy watching my healing process and how I evolve as a person and how I start sprucing myself back up, honey. Because I need to get back right. Okay? So I'll talk to you guys next Wednesday.